Welcome to another episode of the Unscripted, presented by the Field of 68, the official Michigan State podcast. I am your host, Carter Elliott. I am as always, accompanied by my co-host, Greg Waddell. Greg, how are we doing today?
Doing all right. I'm sorry to the Spartan fan base. Let me start there. I am the problem. What's that Taylor Swift lyric? It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. That's how I feel. I came on here a week ago and essentially said that Michigan State was a Final Four contender. I was all the way in. I don't need to doubt them anymore. And then they promptly went out and lost 2 straight games. You and I predicted what would happen this week. Neither one of us had 2 losses on the slate. And now Malik Hall's hurt. So I'm sorry. I'm the problem. It's me. I'm 0-9, I think, on the season, either betting on or against this team. Whatever I say is wrong. Luckily for Michigan State fans, I think I'm going to be pretty doom and gloom about the team after today and about the injury. So maybe that means everything will be just fine.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a whole new kind of tone to this episode, I think, just because it's not just a 2-game losing streak for the Spartans. It's a whole new, I think, vision of where the program's gonna go. So let's touch on that first, because I think that's a really big part of what kind of happened in these last 2 games. But for anyone who didn't see or hasn't heard the news, Malik Hall re-injured his foot, ankle. Haven't necessarily heard what it exactly is. Know it's something to do with the foot ankle area. Happened in the second half of the Illinois game. There's a lot of speculation on what was going to happen. He was actually seen leaving the Illinois game without a boot, without crutches, not really a noticeable limp either. So people were pretty kind of, positive about where that was going to go. But then the days following that, the pictures were released and Malik Hall was in a boot. And then before the game today, we're recording this game on MLK Day on Monday after the Purdue game. Tom Izzo came to the presser and basically said that Malik's going to be out for an extended period of time and that the prognosis did not look good. And just to give people a backdrop too on kind of what emotionally it looked like, Tom Izzo was actually in the presser damn near in tears talking about Malik and how he's hurt and how he wants this team to win for Malik. So using all those context clues, I'm going to go ahead and say, moving forward, I don't know if we're going to have Malik Hall for the rest of the year, and that is a detrimental loss for this team.
Wholeheartedly correct. Yeah. First of all, I just feel very bad for Malik. He's a very fun player to watch. It stinks that any element of his career is going to be marred by injury, let alone this season when the team clearly looked like it could contend in the Big Ten and potentially even beyond if his presence was there fully healthy. Now, we don't know if this is a season-ending thing. Certainly the reports don't sound great, but he has not been ruled out with any definitive, he tore his ACL and he's out for the year. That hasn't happened. I will say from our vantage point at the Illinois game, which you will see in a couple of weeks on College Hoops to Go, it didn't look great. You came back from the bathroom at one point. Illinois was on a little run. The only thing I said was Malik's not putting weight on his leg. Now he didn't really need massive help to get off the floor or anything. I don't really buy that. He kind of looked okay after the game. I didn't think that looked very good, and he never re-entered the game after that. So we'll see. The fact that it's been held pretty under wraps kind of indicates that I don't think good things are going to come from this. But a couple of weeks ago, Cart, one of my themes early in the season for Michigan State was find the middle, right? This is kind of why. It's January 16th, and we've got the head coach near tears in a press conference saying, win one for Malik. And that's just so much to put on 5 playable guys now. It'd be one thing if you had 11 playable guys. It's we're going to rally. No, there's 5 guys on this team who can play. And Carson Cooper's number 6. Without Malik, yeah. Without Malik, yes. There's 5, and I'm counting Carson Cooper as 6.
Can you name the 5?
I guess I'm counting Madi, who had 0 points on 0 shots today. Okay,
well, we got different versions of playable, but go ahead with your point.
It's a lot is my point. There's no way. I talked about how if you're gonna have these emotional swings, every win and every loss is going to feel way more important than it actually is. And that can wear a team down. That's what I was worried about months ago. And I think, if Malik Hall's truly out, this team has to find a way to climb back up the mountain without making it the biggest mountain in the world emotionally every game. Like this, I will say this team's fine, in my opinion, even without Malik. They're not nearly as good because he's a huge depth piece. But as long as Tyson Walker and AJ Hoggard play even close to the level, not that they played today, but the level they've been playing for a month now, this team's going to be fine. Like, don't give me it's a bubble team now. No, as long as AJ Hoggard and Tyson Walker play the level they've played now, and you can throw Joey Hauser in there, this group's going to be okay. They need more from Jaden Akins. They need something from the center spot. But more importantly than anything, Cart, they need to not act like every 1 point loss to the number 3 team in the country is life or death, man. Like, Purdue's a good team. Give them credit. You lost by 1 point. Would it have been pivotal to tie Purdue and be first place in the Big Ten? Absolutely. But it's not a season-crushing loss that Zach Edey made one more play down the stretch and Fletcher Loyer made one more play down the stretch than Tyson Walker did.
Yeah, well, for me, it is, we talked about coming into the season that because of the makeup of the team and kind of how the team is very focused and very, what happens with those 4 main players is kind of how this team goes. And there's kind of a fall off after that. I'll coin the term that you said. There's a fall off when you get to the 6 through 9 players on the roster. Kind of like that phrase. You might need to keep using that one. But that creates a very small margin of error with this team. And that margin just got smaller with the loss of Malik Hall. And it's kind of scary just to think about, like, I mean, guys like Jaden Akins, who knows if he steps the wrong way or something else happens. It's definitely going to be an uphill battle with this team. It's not over because of guys like Tyson Walker and AJ Hoggard. Like, those guys are just gamers for real. That backcourt is just super tough. It sucks that we had to waste a 30-point Tyson Walker performance, including a 19-point second half performance and a 1-point loss against Purdue. But hey, like you said, it's not the end of the world. We just lost to Purdue by 1 point without one of our best players. I know I don't like to play the whole hang the banner moral victory thing, but we had a chance to win this basketball game. We did not win this basketball game. We move on. I think we have a winnable game, our next game at Rutgers, but I do want to focus a little more on this Purdue game because there's some things I want to talk about in it, Greg. One thing that I really want to talk about, I want to get your kind of thoughts on is there was a lot of kind of discussion on Zach Edey not getting called for any fouls or, Zach Edey basically being able to do whatever he wants to do. And, I'm not one to put things on the refs. And in this case, I'm still not one to put things on the refs. And I know you think I was about to go in that direction, but what I will say is there's a reason that Zach Edey isn't fouling. You want to know why? Because he doesn't have to guard anybody.
Ooh, I like that.
Why is he at the foul? No one's putting any pressure on him. There's no situations where he's put in a tizzy where he might draw a foul. No one's putting any pressure on him to draw fouls. If he's getting attacked by players that are smaller, all he has to do is stand there. Mady Sissoko's not putting any pressure on him. I mean, in this game, Carson Cooper, for what he did defensively, he's not putting any pressure offensively. Jackson Kohler didn't have the opportunity to do that in this game, but he's probably not putting any pressure offensively on Edey as well. So I just wanted to point that out, that we don't have a center that is going to be able to put pressure defensively on the opposing team because we don't really have an offensive center.
Yeah, you don't have a good center, not even offensive. Like, you don't have a good center at any element of the game. And that's no disrespect, but it is disrespect also. Like, it's honest, right? Like, Michigan State fans can tell me I'm being harsh. I don't think I am. When your starting center plays 22 minutes and can't attempt a shot, what are we doing here? Like, he was out there to foul and occasionally rebound tonight. I thought Carson Cooper the last 2 games has really done some things. He had the big transition grab on the go, on the move without traveling, the dunk against Illinois. I thought he was by far the most successful of the bigs against Purdue today. He's the only, well, I guess Jackson Kohler was also 1 for 1 from the floor, but Cooper was 1 for 1 from the floor tonight, 2 rebounds. We're like fighting for scraps here. Like, oh, he had 2 rebounds and 2 points in 11 minutes. But like, man, this is just the worst center spot in high level basketball. There isn't a high major team that is worse at one position than Michigan State is at center. And that was a thing they could overcome when they had health. It's not a thing you're going to be able to overcome when you don't. But I don't know. I texted you on Cooper. Long term, I like his outlook a lot. I was wrong about him. I thought this was a total waste of a scholarship, and that's clearly not the case. Like, he kind of reminds me the way he moves of Colin Castleton as a freshman at Michigan, where you couldn't really tell if he had any real game to him. You could just tell, like, he's lanky as hell and kind of too big for his own good. And if he grows into that body, who knows what happens. But yeah, it would just benefit you. Like, even if Madi is what he is, like if you had somebody off the bench that was like a true pick and pop 5, right? Doesn't have to be good at anything else. Just a guy who's like a 40% shooter at the 5. That would put some pressure on Edey in this game. But Jackson Kohler's not that. Maybe he will be one day. Cooper's certainly not that. So I don't know. Last point on Edey, you talked about the ref side of it and like, should he have been called for fouls? The flagrant today that was a no call absolutely should have been a hook and hold, right? Mm-hmm. That's one of the worst calls I've ever seen. One of the worst missed calls I've ever seen. It was an utterly blatant hook and hold. They didn't call it. They call it on Mady Sissoko, which is insane. In general, though, I don't think it's just this game where it's like Zach Edey doesn't foul because there's no pressure on him. I think that's almost every game. Like, there's the Ant Wright tweets going around of like, he has like 10 consecutive games with only 1 foul. Okay, like, sure, but Zach Edey also just isn't super foul prone because he's very well coached and he's just so damn big, Cart. He doesn't need to do anything. Like,
he literally just walls up and he's 7'6". He doesn't jump. He doesn't do anything.
Matt Painter has literally told him, just stand there. Straight up. That's all you have to do, and you can be a dominant force defensively. And, it works. Like, you don't get fouls called on guys just because the fouls aren't even. Like, there has to be an actual foul there. And other than the hook and hold today, I didn't really think there was anything Edey should have been called for a foul for. So I don't know. It was a weird game, man, but that's why he's the National Player of the Year frontrunner. And I think, the bigger story arguably was Fletcher Lawyer's second half, answering every big shot that Tyson Walker had.
Yeah, true. And for every big shot, I mean, credit to Fletcher Lawyer for what he did as coming into the Brez as a freshman, with not just the pressure of doing that, but the pressure of obviously him being the brother of a Foster Lawyer and that situation. I mean, credit to him for what he did in that second half. Also, I found myself saying, wow, it's 4 minutes left in the game and we have Carson Cooper on the floor in in a really tight game. I think that was pretty indicative of where the center position is at. That's no discredit to Carson. That's just is what it is. But he had some defensive breakdowns late down the stretch, which gave kind of Fletcher a clear path to the basket. And one thing I wanted to also talk about was it seemed that we had a lot of success going back to that Michigan game when we sent doubles at the bigs. Mm-hmm. These last 2 games, no doubling. We did not double Dane Danger. He gave us 20 points. We did not double Zach Edey. He scored 32.
32. Yeah, 32. 26 shots, 32 points, 17 rebounds for Zach Edey.
And a lucky 32, honestly, I might add, because I think he missed a lot of shots that he typically makes. And I'm not necessarily chalking that up to good defense. I'm chalking that up to Zach Edey missing. So, I don't know. It just seems that obviously the game plan was to just let Zach Edey kind of cook and don't let anybody else get off, which worked for the most part. But then, you let Fletcher get baskets towards the end. What do you think as far as like the game plan in this game is just playing Zach Edey straight up? Because I think it's malpractice, but obviously I'm not a coach.
It's one of those things, man. I definitely disagreed with it and I don't like it. And I objectively think it was the wrong decision, even going back, given the results. But it's one of those things through the years where, it works for Tom Izzo. So can you really say he was wrong? Because there's been countless things like this, both big picture and in the middle of the game, right? Like his whole approach to the portal is like the flip on this. You can pretty objectively point and say he's wrong. Also, I'm sorry, but Dallas's kicker, we're recording this live in the middle of this game. Dallas's kicker is 0 for 4 from extra point.
He missed another one?
He is 0 for 4 from extra point. Dallas has 24. It's 24-0, and their kicker is 0 for 4 from extra point. I'm sorry, I got off my train of thought on that. Zach Edey, he's too good. He's too good to not double, and I get, they did this to Hunter last year in the Michigan game, and they won the first game. They said, we're going to let you have 40 and we'll beat you. And it worked. Like it's a sound strategy at times, but I don't think it's a sound strategy given Michigan State's center spot this year, because what you saw was Madi got in foul trouble, right? Like if Madi's going to play 22 minutes and get 4 fouls because he has to play one-on-one, like that really puts you in a really bad spot where you have to turn to the bench bigs, which you don't want to do in this game. And like you said, I thought this was Edey's worst offensive game of the season. Like he didn't just stuff Carson Cooper in a locker one-on-one like multiple times. And you can credit Cooper for that a little bit, but more than anything, that was Zach Edey not taking advantage of this. What I would like your opinion on is, the timing of some of these decisions has been the one thing I will credit Izzo for. It's like whatever we think he's going to do, he's done the opposite in a lot of big moments this year. And I think that's worked because it's caught teams by surprise. Like against Michigan, everybody thought they weren't going to double Hunter. So here you go. Here's doubles the entire game. And now in this one, it's like, oh, they're obviously going to double Zach Edey. Oh, no, they're not. Here you go for the entire first half. And then out of the second half, you think they're not going to double. And then they do double. So like, I give him credit for that. But as a player and a big man, right? If you're in the spot where like 4 minutes into the game, it's now apparent that it's just, oh, I have to go one-on-one every single play. Is there something mental to that kind of like, because we saw this with both Hunter and Edey, where it felt like they weren't necessarily ready to literally score every single play, even though that was the best option for their team every possession. Like to me, Edey kind of took himself out of this in spots in the first half where I thought he was better in the second half. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, it seemed that he was like, he would catch it and be like, oh shit, like I'm by myself. Mm-hmm. And he would like kind of like, and I think you pointed out in the second half, it was more so, okay, I'm going to make a move. They're guarding me one-on-one. I'm going to go score. That's why you saw plays like when he just drop step and just dunked the basketball. Like I thought he could have done that a lot more. But it did seem that it did kind of throw him off. So, I mean, credit to Izzo for that. That's why I'm kind of like, I guess playing straight up seems like it's a bad decision. But, I mean, I guess you can say it worked. Like we were in the game. We had a chance to win the basketball game. And, Edey took 26 shots to get 32 points for a post player. That's a lot. So,
yeah, I mean, but what worked better in my opinion? Doubling off Ethan Morton.
That did work really well.
Which Purdue is not a good shooting team. Like that's why I was so surprised is like they on the season are shooting in the 250s, I believe, on KenPom nationally from three.
Not to cut you off, but I thought that they were going to go with the let's double, see what that happens. Like if they start knocking down threes, adjust, single up on Edey. But we just went straight up single coverage basically the whole game. I did not expect that. So, I don't know. It's just. I think we had a chance to win the game. I don't necessarily think we gave it away. I just think Purdue kind of won the basketball game.
Yeah. I mean, Fletcher, can we talk about that stretch down the stretch? Like it seemed to me like you've heard me say this a bunch in the last couple of days and weeks. The most special thing about MSU is how vetty they are. Like if you get in a one possession game, AJ Hoggard and Tyson Walker and Joey Hauser and previously Malik Hall are going to make the plays to win the game. Malik did it at Wisconsin. Joey's done it in multiple games this year. Tyson did it today. AJ's done it in games this year as well. Like that's a luxury no other team in the Big Ten has. 4 guys that have played that much college basketball and are that good in clutch situations. The problem is that a little freshman 18-year-old kid from Clarkston, Michigan, and the Lawyer family answered every Tyson Walker haymaker that he threw. And that's like, forget all the lawyer family ties to this game. You just are amazed by the fact that any freshman in the conference can do that today. When you add the fact that, oh, this is a guy who his brother didn't work out at Michigan State, and now this guy's going to Purdue, and he looks like a kid who's going to be here for 4 years, torturing this conference. I mean, it's a heavy, heavy thing to watch happen. And yeah, I was just impressed because I've been skeptical of what this backcourt will do in big moments. And for Fletcher to answer the bell like that today, you give him credit. Tyson did enough to win the game. So did Fletcher. And then in the final minute, you really saw a back and forth between two great coaches kind of getting guys in their spots to be successful. Like I thought for sure the ball was going to Fletcher. I thought everybody in the building thought the ball was going to Fletcher. Next thing you know, Zach Edey's elbows at the rim and the game's over. So, tough. You're kind of shaking your head. You think they should have done something different on the last play there?
Me personally, I'm not letting the best. Well, I'm talking about defensively for Michigan State. I'm not letting the best player on the floor beat me.
Yeah, but how do you even prevent that though? Isn't that just why Zach Edey's the National Player of the Year front runner? Like, if Zach Edey runs to the block, like you have to try to prevent him from getting position. But the only way
there's a couple things that would have went into it. I mean, some more ball pressure, making it easy. I mean, they really just got across the line, tossed it into him, and he turned and laid it up. Like,
yeah,
there's a couple more things I would have done. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna sound like a damn broken record on here, but I hate our big scouting report recognition. Make Zach Edey beat you over his other shoulder. If you're going to beat me, you're going to beat me with your weakest move. You're not going to beat me on a right-handed jump hook. That's how I feel about it personally. Now, obviously, it's easier said than done, but in my mind, in my head, you got to beat me with another post move. You're not going to beat me with your go-to post move. That's not happening. But obviously, he probably would have made the left-handed hook anyway. I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that they got a 7'4" guy and we don't.
I mean, he's really good too. Like that's
he is.
There's a lot of narrative. You and I were texting about this. There's a lot of circulating narratives of like Zach Edey's just big. He can't hoop. And I'll just throw this out there. If Hunter Dickinson says it on a podcast, probably not the take you want to align yourselves with, Michigan State fans. Like, it's not true. He's really, really fucking talented. Sorry, BetRivers. Sorry, Field of 68. But like, it just bought like this man had 32 and 17 today. He had like 28 and 15. And we had people talking about, oh, he has no skill. Like, dog, come on. Being that big and being able to play 36 minutes is a skill. Getting the position he gets is a skill. He has a good hook over both shoulders. Over his left shoulder, he's dominant. He's one of the best free throw shooting bigs in the country. This dude is great. And he is the National Player of the Year frontrunner for a reason. So, look, Izzo rolled the dice, said, let's make the best player in the country beat us. For the most part, the best player in the country beat you with some help from Foster Lawyer's brother. And if Tyson Walker doesn't go nuclear, that game's probably not even close, right? Like, other than that Tyson stretch happens, like what else happens? Tyson had to score like 8 straight possessions to hold on to that lead with how Purdue was playing.
Yeah, I mean, it was basically Tyson Walker punch, Purdue counterpunch, most likely Fletcher Lawyer, except for that Caleb first three-pointer from the corner, which was his 9th three-pointer of the year. Hell yeah.
It was a great game, man. It
was an elite game. Sad that obviously we came out on the loser end of it, but hey, good game. Looking forward just a little bit though. The season's not over. I think you pointed that out earlier in the pod. I just want to let it be known. This season is not over. This season is not lost. We just went toe-to-toe without our best player with the best team in the Big Ten, the team that might win the Big Ten. So why can't we win the Big Ten? Like, we have our every game is winnable in the Big Ten. Don't end me. Every
game is winnable, but as far as actually winning the conference, this game was a big shift piece. And that's not just for Michigan State, for everyone.
Well, but that goes against your original theory though, Greg. We can go back, run the clip back. You said it was gonna be a 4-way tie in the Big Ten.
I do, and I thought Purdue would lose one of these last few games they haven't lost. Like, they have created the separation by not losing in the last 2 weeks that I'd never expected to happen. I mean, Purdue goes on the road and wins in a game where Tyson Walker had 30. That's not supposed to happen. Like, And I need to start taking them a little more serious. They have a 2-game lead over this Michigan State team. Michigan State has the hardest schedule in the conference. Like, is it totally out of the question? No, but I don't think Michigan State fans would be honest to be saying we can win the Big Ten still. I think it's much more like this team can have a great season and could make a run in March. That's all still on the table. I don't really think, other than Rutgers is a game back right now. I'd have to look at the rest of the top standing. Iowa's playing. Like, I don't think there's many teams that are feeling like they can catch Purdue at this point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but what I'm more so saying is that I think that we still have a chance to compete for it. If Purdue slips up, it's in Purdue's. It's that the ball is in Purdue's court for sure. Like, it's theirs to lose at this point, but we can still put ourselves in the conversation, put the pressure on them.
I think the bigger thing is you're not some people were like, oh, we're back on the bubble. And my thing would be like, Michigan State's never going to be on the bubble this season unless a total collapse happens. Like, the backcourt's too good for this team to be on the bubble. Like, even if they get total zeros from everybody else, if you have Joey, Tyson, and AJ, like, that team's not going to be on the bubble with how they're playing right now. Can I quick throw a few numbers at you just quickly that baffle me from this game?
I don't. Do I want them?
I don't know, but I'll be quick. 35 total minutes from the bench. Like, coming removed from the last couple seasons, dude. Can you even believe that that's a stat? No. Michigan State's bench played 35 minutes in this game. Joey Hauser played 38. Akins played 32. Pretty empty minutes, by the way. Hogard played 36. Tyson Walker played 37. Like, and that's the thing where I'm talking, like, you really think contention style, like, that can't keep up. It just can't. They have 2 more games this week. And I get you needed to do it today because you're still trying to win the conference against Purdue. But at a certain point, like, they need a win where they don't need to play those 4 guys 32 minutes.
I don't think we can win without playing those guys.
But see, that's why, if we're being serious, like, that's not sustainable. You're gonna see Joey Hauser wear down. You're gonna see Tyson Walker wear down. If Tyson Walker needs to take 20 shots a game and play 37 minutes the rest of the year, it's just, he's gonna run into a wall with as good as he is. That's such a ridiculous burden to put on any player. And it's the opposite of what I've been saying for years. So I don't want to criticize Izzo for it because it's not his fault Malik Hall got hurt. It's just not. But, like, the ideal thing would be like 30 minutes a game for these guys. 32. That's a sweet spot. 38 every night is going to kill some of these guys. And in the past, it's been 20 minutes, and we never saw the fully realized versions of themselves. So
we just need to find the middle.
You got to find the middle. And, like, in order for that to happen, though, for real, Pierre Brooks or Trey Holloman have to play. And
it's going to have to be. I think I was going to ask that. Pierre Brooks has hit 1 shot in 2023.
Yeah, he was horrible today. He missed shots. He's not defending. I mean, Holloman played 5 minutes today. That's crazy to me.
I think Holloman just needs to have a little, like, we need to throw him out there for more minutes, and kind of give him the confidence just to get some shots up or go to the basket, be aggressive, see what he can do. Yeah. At least at the worst, he'll provide intensity, and we'll see what we have. I think we're at the point of this year where we have Malik Hall out. Obviously, we're still competing. We're still trying to, go as far as we can. But at the same time, we need to see what we got. Like, play these other guys a couple more minutes and see what we got. And at the same time, it'll help manage those other guys' minutes. So, I'd like to see what we can get. More Carson Cooper minutes, more Trey Holloman minutes. Like, let's see.
You got to do it. You got to do it in the right games. Like, I don't even know what the upcoming schedule is. I know it's hard.
We play Rutgers on Thursday, so I think that'd be a good game to do it, to be honest.
Yeah, you're going to have to pit, like, Rutgers and Iowa are the next 2 easiest home games. At Indiana, I think they could win that because I think Indiana's pretty bad. But, this is looking weeks in the future. But, like, when you're playing Maryland at home, that needs to be a game where you go into it intending to get 28 minutes for your best players and find a way to win with the bench playing 60, 70 minutes in that game. Like, they have to pick their spots on the schedule where, okay, here's a game. We're going to play all the starters 38. And then here's a game we can get some guys some rest, which is crazy to think about. They got to turn injuries off too. I mean, God forbid, Cart. Like, It's tragic what happened to Malik Hall, but the sad part is that everybody else has the same chance of getting hurt like Malik Hall did right now, except they're playing more minutes. And that's a terrifying, terrifying proposition.
Also disrespectful of you to be sipping out of an Iowa cup on this episode.
I'm sorry. I'm in the Spartan Dog shirt. Field68.shop if you want to get one of those. It's a really nice
shirt. Get that, woof woof. But support that. 10% of those funds go to Malik Hall's new foot. Just kidding. But all is not doom and gloom. We are going to be okay. Listen to me. I'll say it again. If you're watching this, look me in my eyes. If you're listening, just listen up good. We are going to be okay. Tyson, AJ, Hauser, the big three. LeBron, Wade, Bron of Michigan State Athletics are going to carry us this year. Okay.
Listen,
Hauser's Bron.
Go to fieldofsixty8.shop, use promo code NIT for 20% off your Spartan Dog shirt.
Relax. This is not Go Blue with Stu Douglas.
It's a joke. It's a joke. But if you're going to compare Joey Hauser to LeBron James, I'm just trying to balance out the karma for this podcast.
If you want to talk about NIT podcast, go head over to Go Blue with Stu Douglas. It's a great listen.
Okay.
All right. But I hate you sometimes. I don't know why you do that.
What? Our teams are tied in the Big Ten right now.
But we beat you. Well, we beat you guys. So,
hey, when you've got Malik Hall, you guys are one of the best teams in the country. That's for sure.
It is. I mean, when you have the best backcourt in the Big Ten, you'll have a shot at any game.
AJ was great, man. AJ, particularly, my favorite part was the 2 missed free throws in a 1-possession game late for an 85%.
Yeah, those are tough. Those are very tough. But 12-8 and 6 is also tough.
You know how some guys are it's like it doesn't show up in the box score?
AJ
Hoggard, everything shows up in the box score. I'll just say that.
Okay. That'll do it for this episode of Unscripted because it's getting pretty volatile at the end right here, and I don't like that. So I'm going to stop it right now before I say something that has me hosting this by myself. Greg, do you have any parting words?
Tyson Walker was phenomenal today. AJ Hoggard was very good. Joey Hauser looked tired. The season's not over. All in all, the season is not over. But you'd be in a better spot if Carter was your center, though.
That's facts. And on that note, for Carter Elliott, for Greg Waddell, another episode of Unscripted. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment. I love seeing comments. I say that at the end of every episode. I do look at comments, so make sure you leave those, whether they're good or bad. I like them.
I have one parting gift for Michigan State fans. I predict Michigan State will lose at home to Rutgers and lose at Indiana. There you go.
Thanks. 2-0. Book it. We're out.